Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. I am way behind on painting my Masters of the Universe Battleground collection. I mean, way behind. I recently received the rewards from last year's crowdfunding campaign, and that alone would be a lot of stuff. But the truth is, I still have a stack of miniatures from earlier releases to paint as well. The problem is, I really love Masters of the Universe, so I tend to treat painting one of these miniatures as a reward, and then I spend a bit more time on them than I would with other painting projects. I'm still only painting to a tabletop standard, but it's a better standard than my other stuff. As a result, yeah, I haven't got a lot done. If I was to paint one miniature a week for the next year, I still wouldn't be close to having it all done and dusted. Yet this is far from being my only painting project. So I need to pull my finger out, and I am starting today by painting Beastman from the Evil Warriors Wave 1 box. He came packaged with Scareglow, who probably won't be seeing paint for a long time, as he's not one of my favourites. Beastman, however, is a favourite. Unfortunately, this version, like everything in this game, is based on the Classics toy line, so he has extra spikes, which I don't think are necessary. Beastman is already intimidating enough. Nevertheless, my hope is that Beastman will be a fairly quick paint job. After all, he is basically 4 colours: orange fur, red armour, blue loincloth and pale skin. And I am starting from a base coat of Colour Forge Ghoul Grey. I could have used black, but as the miniature is mainly red and orange, I wanted a brighter base coat. If I had used white, there was a risk of the reds looking slightly pink. I don't think Beastman would approve of slightly pink accessories. However, before I start painting, I am going to coat the miniature with Agrax Earthshade. This is going to start giving us some dark recess shading immediately, it will subdue the base coat, and it will make it easier for us to see the details as we paint. On a side note, if you aren't a painter, priming a miniature and then giving it a wash like this is a great way to make the details pop, so you can enjoy the quality of the sculpts without having to do a proper paint job. You could even use a different base coat for each faction for ease of identification on the tabletop. Once that wash is dry, we can start on the orange fur. And when I am painting these miniatures, I am largely drawing inspiration from the vintage toys or the Filmation animated series. I'm going to make a mix of 4 parts Inferno Orange from the P3 range, which is a brilliant medium orange, and 1 part Scrag Brown from Citadel, which is an orangey brown. The result is quite a bright orange colour, but I think it's a good approximation of the old action toy colour. I'm going to apply 2 thin coats, and at the moment I don't need to worry about being careful, I just need to focus on good coverage. And my plan here is to get the other base coats on before doing any shading and highlighting. So now I am going to mix a red for his fur trim and armour. For that I'm going 4 parts Dragon Red from Army Painter and 1 part Mournfang Brown from Citadel. As always, I'm keeping the paint thin and I'm going for 2 coats, and this time I am being careful not to overpaint the orange. While that red is drying, I will quickly do the belt because it's easy. I am avoiding any metallic colouring, so I'm going to use Balor Brown, mixed with nothing but a little water for smooth coverage. For the straps on the armour and the spikes, I am reversing the mix I used on the armour, so it will be 4 parts Mournfang Brown and 1 part Dragon Red. This is because in original depictions those straps would have been red, while in the Classics range they were a dark brown, so I'm sort of straddling the 2 here. And you know what, I'll do the tree on the ground with this brown too. Next I want to do the loincloth. For that I'm mixing 3 parts Stormguard Blue from P3 with 1 part Riven Green, also from P3. That's going to give us a really nice vivid blue, and I can use that base but add a little more Riven Green and a touch of Marrow White from P3, and I can use that for the medallion on the chest. At this point we are getting close to having our base colours done, but I need to do some more on the face. First I'm going to use P3's Rin Flesh, which is a really pale flesh colour, and I'm going to use that to paint Beastman's face, including the lips and lower jaw. Then I'm going to use a touch of Bugman's Glow from Citadel to add a spot of colour to the exposed tongue. That is the easy bit. For the base of the miniature I want to paint all of the stone using Xandri Dust. You know the drill, thinned with a little water and applied in 2 thin even coats. And then I need to do the whip. The original toy had a black whip, but I believe it was changed to grey for newer toys, so I am going for grey. Eshin Grey from Citadel to be exact. And once that is done, we have all of our base coats down, and it looks a little bit like the vintage action toy. If you saw that from a distance on the tabletop, I don't think you would be in any doubt as to who it was. But of course we aren't leaving it here. It is time for the liquid talent, Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to apply this over the whole miniature, making sure I get it into all of the recesses. It's going to bring back all the details that have been obscured, tone down the brightness, and help to unify the different colours. And just look at the difference. At this point you could leave Teen Wolf here exactly as he is and be very happy. It really is amazing what a wash can do. But there's more work ahead, the time consuming bit. The wash is going to take a while to dry, but once it has, I have to go back over each part of the miniature, using these same base colours but thinning them right down with Lamy and medium and applying them as highlights, focusing on building colour gradually on the raised details. And what you can do at this stage is lighten your base colours as you work up the layers. For example, I added a touch of Heartfire Yellow from the P3 range to the orange fur tone and the red armour, just for the final pass for a pop of additional colour. It all depends on how much effort you want to put into it. And of course we need to do the eyes. For this I'm using Pallid Witch Flesh, which I'm applying with a Psycho detail brush from Army Painter. I'm just carefully lining that in, and then I will use some Thamar Black from P3 to dot the pupils. And we mustn't forget, Beastman has some blue around his eyes and mouth. I'm not going to worry about the mouth. At this scale I am worried it will end up looking like blue lip gloss, but I will use some thinned Temple Guard blue from Citadel to line under the eye sockets. For the base, I need to bring the colour of the rocks back up with layers of thin Xandri dust, and I will gradually add a little Citadel Screaming Skull for the final highlights. For the facing arrow I am going to use Thamar Black, and then I will use Citadel Steel Legion Drab to paint the rim. And that is that. I just need to give Beastman a coat of Army Painter matte varnish and he is ready to, well, probably get thrown into a moat by He-Man, but now he can do it in full colour. One down, far too many to go. I think I'll paint a hero next. But that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.